Good morning, everyone. I'm welcome you all to this 25th day of our CSIR online training. In this class, we are going to today discuss the remaining part of Unit 7, that is Animal Physiology, and the Unit 9, that is Diversity of Life Forms. Okay, I think I'm audible. Now I am. If you're not seen able to see in my slides, please let me know through chat. And I think I'm audible. It's it not audible, please let me know through chat box. Now I am start this section. Today it's a very too short thing because today's Sunday, so I'm not take too much of time. Okay, first on us see our sensory system, that is in animal physiology. Based on our sense of organs, there are some different activities are there. Okay, if a person is hypersensitivity, having hypersensitivity, that person having the emotional outburst and anxious child, that he or she must be very anxious and hate tags of tags in the cloths and fight and flight response. Okay, everything hypersensitive, they are too fast, too active, too fast movement. But and hyposensitivity people, their sensory system, it's feel like that is act as hyposensitivity. They are having the they're not clean, they are dirty. There is rough and tough playing kind of works, they are doing the harsh things. And the body awareness, they are having body awareness, and they are having the perfect relationships, the hacks. Okay, next thing, in the sensory system itself, we have another two things, that is the hearing and visionaries. In the hearing, there our ear sensor systems are activated. We are discussed in the in separate part, because the sensory systems, nose, eye, ear, three systems are comes in different part. I'll explain in different thing, because that are having the organelle based one. There is no signaling pathways, so there is no that kind of questions are not directly asked in the CSIR examination. Some questions are there, we will discuss in the questionnaire session. This hyposensitivity activity based questions are there in question, so only I am included this tactile defensiveness, and that hypersensitivity and hyposensitivity. We can manage the people with hyposensitivity, but we can't manage with hypersensitivity. They are hyperactively, we want to handle them with the perfect experience. Okay, next thing is our excretion system. First is the sensory system. Due to the sensory system alone, they are activated. Then in the sensory system, we have the ear, nose, and eyes. In next is a secretion system. In the secretion system, the kidney is a major functional thing. In that kidney, we have the they have different functions. Okay, first one is the ending nitrogen metabolic product, that is the urea formed, and the excretion of strange substance, that means toxic compounds removal. Then excretion of organic and inorganic substance, and it's supporting of osmotic pressure of blood. Okay, the based on the osmotic pressure of blood alone, our our system, our blood system, it will circulate, so that is very important. Then ionic balance of organism is very important. Then acid balance, that is also supported by the kidney. These are all the things are functions. Okay, why we need to study these functions? They provided the 4 options in the question. They ask the functions of kidney means they 4 answers are become maybe relevant to the functions of kidney, but we want to eliminate one thing, or we want to give the perfect answer. So we want to know all the functions of kidney. Every body parts are having different functions, but the kidney having role having the many functions. Okay, all the functions are very important. So only I am included this excretion in this supporting osmotic pressure, ionic balance support, acid base support balancing, and ions, sodium ions support balancing, blood circulation regulation, development of biological activity substance. In that they having enzymes. Okay, that is the bradykinin and prostaglandin, urokinase, vitamin T3, and erythropoietin, renin. These are all the enzymes which involved in the biological activity that is controlled by the developed by the functions of kidney. Then it takes place in the regulation of blood volume, blood circulation volume. Okay, that are all the big things. Here I am included some short forms. Okay, why I am included this short form is somewhat it's rememberable. Okay, this is acid base one, what electrolyte balance, toxins removal, blood pressure, making erythropoietin and vitamin D. Okay. It's a short formed one. It's a wet bed. The short form is a wet bed. Wet is A means acid, B is that water balance, T is toxic removal, and E is electrolyte balance, B means blood pressure control. This is erythropoietin making, and that they are providing the development, right? The development, the substance, in that substance the erythropoietin comes under that, and vitamin D metabolism. These are all the functions. A wet bed. Okay, then the major function is urine formation. How it is formed? First one is the glomerular filtrations create a plasma like filter or filtrate of blood. Okay, first step is plasma like filtration of blood. Okay, then it is glomerular, it's did that, it make a plasma like blood. Then tubular, it's reabsorb and remove the useful solute from filtrate. That filtrate is like plasma. It's look like plasma. This tubular reabsorb all the useful substitutes and from the filtrate and return to the blood. And it not remove, excrete. It's collect all the content and that filtrate return to the blood. Then tubular secretion, it's remove additional waste from the blood. Okay, that is the second step. Then here you can see that tubular, that peritubular, in that it's look like capillary. These are all playing a role in the secretion process. Then waste conservation, it's remove water from the urine and return in the blood concentrated waste. Okay, these are all the things are very continuously happen in the this region. Okay, so the first one is a glomerular filtration, that is a plasma like the glomerular doing the removal of plasma. Okay, then tubular reabsorb all the solutes or useful solutes from filtrate, return them to the blood. Okay, that is, and the globular is our human body favor, because that plasma may contains the useful things. Okay, that tubular make collect useful things and return to the blood. Now the urinary tract having only the unwanted things, that is the tubular secretion removes additional waste. Tubular secretion, that is the third part, it's additional waste Then waste water conservation, it's remove water from the urine and return to the blood. The water is also there that are under concentrated waste. Then urine is an important concept. Here the concentration of urine means each and every part the concentration of urine is vary. In that way, in that first step, okay, here they mention 300, 400, 600. That things are, how to mention means MOSM. Okay, that means modular osmotic gradient, that is a medullary osmotic gradient. This is the denotation form. In that way we need to understand the how which area is high concentrated and low. This is the entry part, that is the globular. In that the concentration of urea is low, that MOSM per liter or kg, that mentioned in the different form in different region. And that it's enter into the tubular, it comes to the concentration of the urine is 600, because in that plasma that excretes some things, some unwanted things, that concentration is low. After that step, this tubular secretion alone, the concentration become high. In that area, that water are removed and sodium ions are removed from the tube. In that condition, the concentration is 600 MOSM per kg. And after the level of the, if it's reaching the next level of urinary secretion, that level is become low, because in that step the removal of CO2 and mol of H2O and NaCl is become high, so there is a low concentration of the urine and urea. Then next, it's our last step. In that last step, in the medulla, that concentration is at 2200 MOSM per kg. Then water balance system. How to water balance system maintained in the our system? Means in this regulation of water intake is majorly influence in the our water intake. Regulation of water intake influence in the water balance, because it's provoke the increased plasma osmolality and provoked by the blood loss. Okay, two things are is governed by the this water. And the hypothalamus, center in the hypothalamus is respond to the sign of the dehydration. The hypothalamus is play a role in the dehydration, because response to the sign of dehydration, that hypothalamus is helps producing the hormones angiotensin 2, antidiuretic hormones, and signals from the osmo center. These three things are what are, so only of the giddiness feel, that giddiness feeling is happen, and it's unbalanced feel happens to us. If there is a water dehydration happen in the body, there is a there is a illness feeling. Okay, that is it's all about the regulation of water intake. In the water intake, our dehydration, sign of dehydration makes active the production of angiotensin 2 and antidiuretic hormones and signals from osmo center. Actually, it's also inhibit the salivation. Next thing in the in our water balance, it's balance the sodium also, because the sodium is soluble in the water. So if there is a water balance happen, means also there is a sodium balance also happen. The major regulatory factors in the sodium and water balance is the hormones. Where there are n number of hormones in the human system that are playing a major. That is here hormone is the aldosterone, and here we know the ADH, the antidiuretic hormone, the renin angiotensin system. So water, whenever we discussing the water balance, there is three things are very important: angiotensin and aldehyde, this or angiotensin, the antidiuretic hormones, and osmo or osmocentus signals. These are the important. Here you can see renin angiotensin system. Here aldosterons, here how it is regulate. It's mineral, it's a corticoid. It's zona glomerulus of adrenal cortex. Okay, this is produced from mineralocorticoid glomerulus of adrenal cortex, and it regulates the K plus and Na plus ion exchange and K plus H plus ion exchange at the renal tubules. It's net effect of sodium retention. Sodium retention, it's a signaling pathway. This helps for the signaling. This is very important thing. 2 or 3 times are asked in the CSIR question, so only I am included this. This is aldosterons. Okay, mineralo, it's produced from the adrenal cortex. Okay, this is a water intake, metabolic water, food water, and fluid. Body fluid also having water. We are taking food, right, that having water. Then metabolic system, during the metabolism there is a water excretions happen. These are all the things, possible things in the water metabolism. It's a intake. That intake, waters are removed by fecal loss, sweat, urine, and these are the last ways. So if we are feel it's too sweat, means we need to take more water. That is a water loss happen in the human system. After the urine excretion, we need to take a water. So there is a loss of water, so we need to take a water. Here it's very important concepts, only included many representative slides. In the hypothalamus and posterior pituitary regulation, and it's regulate the plasma osmolytic process. That process triggers the thalamic, that is responsible for the osmoreceptors. Due to this osmoreceptor activation, thus osmoreceptors are pass the signals, right? That signals are simulate the thrust. After the stimulation of thrust happens, it's activate, cause the person to drink. That feeling, that osmoreceptors make one dehydrated feeling. That feeling is make person to drink. That decrease the plasma osmolytic process. This is the balancing. Okay, first step is increase the plasma osmolytic process. That plasma osmolytic process happen in the hypothalamus, means hypothalamic osmoreceptors make a signal. It's one way that makes a thrust, and it's make a person to drink a water. Here the key is osmoreceptor. It's present. It makes the signal in hypothalamic, and the stimulate ADH, that antidiuretic acid, it's released from posterior pituitary gland. It's cause the H2O water to reabsorb in our diuretic gland, and it's collect duct. It's decrease the plasma osmolytic. That decrease osmolytic, it's make a urine excretion. Okay, that is the sense of urinary excretion feel. The two things are happen. For water regulation, two sensory things are involved. One is the water intake, is to water the person to take a water, and another thing is the aldehyde anti-diuretic hormone production, and is production stop, that secretion stopping, and urine excretion start again. Once urine excretion start, there is a stop of ADH production, that is secretion. Okay, then next thing is the dietary electrolyte balance. Okay, what is dietary electrolyte balance? That electrolyte balance means is a major important thing, because it's sufficient insufficient based one, because in the normal body having are many ionic channels, that every parts having the channels, that channels are releasing ions, that ions are make a sense. Okay, we need, there is a need of ions, we need to add. These are all the things are the just informational electrolytes. And in this in the electrolyte balance, that is in a human system, if there is a digestion happen, means that appetite is a low, that is the negative balance. These things are balanced, we want to maintain in the balance. It's insufficient means there is a digestion. Okay, that is the electrolyte count is 5 to minus 200. If there is a sufficient, okay, that is enough means there is the 250 to 300, that is the appetite is high. And so likewise the score is it's high in the insufficient mode, it's higher in the sufficient mode, it's lower in the sufficient mode, it's higher in the insufficient mode, it's lower in the sufficient mode. Here the indigestion, soreness, and malabsorption syndrome, pneumonias, and laminus, these are all the things are low, that sufficient thing is low, the electrolytic is very low, its condition is very low. At feed conservation is high, growth, body weight, egg production, and egg quality, these are all the high in the electrolytic positive manner. And here there is molecular weight and electrolytic balance concept. Here the electrolyte is sodium, that these are all the channel molecule, right? We know these are all the channel molecules, due to that only we can calculate the electrolyte. Here the sodium is molecular weight, it's having the 23 kilodalton, its valence is +1. The body fluid is extracellular body fluids having the Na plus ions. Its function is the water regulation, acid base balance. Okay, in this electrolyte it's play a major role. If there is higher in the water means that makes the hypersensitivity feel, that that is that different, make a different feel than normal. So we want to maintain the electrolyte of Na plus, that regulates the water regulation and acid base regulation. Then potassium ions play a function. It's also electrolyte. This electrolyte play a function like it's present fluid within the cell. This we know, right? Potassium ions are present inside the cell. These ions make a muscle activity, acid base water balance. These are all things. Then chloride, Cl minus ions, these are all present in the body fluid. It's also balancing nerve impulse and water acid balance. And bicarbonate, it's located in all neutralized acids and it's maintain the acid balance. Okay, each and every situation, every organs, there is the different function. Okay, in that we are focusing on the electrolyte and water balance. If there is a proteins disarrangement happens in various various area, if there is a protein, the protein changes, how it is affect the electrolyte and water balance. If there is a protein changes happen, there is a Na plus and K plus ions are also vary. It's make a positive Na plus balance. Okay, that is positive means the concentration of Na plus and K plus is high. Then total exchangeable Na plus. So the total exchangeable that is the exchange makes the balance, that both the Na plus ions exchange is high, potassium ion exchanges become low. This fluid compartments are expansion is extracellular, its expansion, contraction happen in the intracellular. Okay, this it is caused the progenesis. It's very it's a continuous sequential one. This here the notable thing is during this positive Na plus balances happen, it's make a higher exchangeable Na plus exchangeable, lower K plus exchangeable. So very please remember it. Na plus ions are highly exchangeable, K plus ions are low exchangeable in the electrolyte water balance. Okay, in the cardiovascular system itself, the ventricular contractiles are happen, and this make a stroke volume and cardiac output is become low. Then erythromyces incidents happen that make a function, that make a disease. If there is in the cardiac system, the proteins disarrangement happen in the cardiac system, that make the verticular contractility, and it's make a stroke. It's like become low, and erythromyos is happen. Then in the respiratory system, it's become the respiratory muscle efficiency is become low. The lung defense system it's inactivated, that is too low. So fluid accumulation is high in the lungs. It's the alteration of surfactants composition, that alveolar collapsed. That alveolar collapsed make a progenesis. The next thing is a musculoskeletal system. In that the structural mass and protein quantity become low due to the protein disarrangement, that make a contractile and endocrine metabolism, and as a sarcopenia it's become high. Then in immune system, the proteins are disarranged now, that make a circulating of T lymphocytes and it's decrease the circulation of T lymphocytes and T helper cells. So that is secretary, that is they reduce the secretary of IgA. These are all the sequential process. Please refer this slide after I am sending this. Then next thing is the endocrine. In this endocrine we have the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, adrenal gland, testes, ovary, pancreas, thymus, and pineal gland. These are all the glands. Okay, 8 things, and each and everything's having the different system. If there is an endocrine system and neuronal systems are also closely associated. Okay, so only that is system is called as the neuroendocrine system, and it's a control system in the hypothalamus. It's a master switch brand, and in the is suspended from the hypothalamus by the thin stalk. It's the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus send the message to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is turned in and release the hormones to regulate the body. So the endocrine system it's fully depends on the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus make a sense of to the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland helps to produce the hormones. Okay, each and every step of the activation of the system or glands that make some activity. Okay, then the cardiac rhythm and stress are fully depends on the hypothalamus. That hypothalamus make a signal to pituitary gland. The pituitary glands make a sense to adrenal gland and producing the hormones. It's make a sense of cardiac clock and immune inflammation reduction and cognitions and depression and anxieties are high. The growth reproduction become low, cardiovascular tone become fast, and it's make a gluconeogenesis and lipolysis proteolytic process high. These are all the sequential process happen in the neuroendocrine process. In this glands are every plant this playing a major role. The pituitary gland has involved in the many thing, very important thing in the question point of view. The pituitary gland having the menstrual, it's involved in the menstrual cycle, osmoregulation, growth and division, the both birth concentration and milk production. The thyroid gland involved in the metabolic rate. Then adrenal gland involved in the fight or flight, anti-stress. The pancreas gland, the pancreas is involved in the insulin, its production involved in the blood sugar level. Ovarian involved in the menstrual cycle, testy involved in the male characteristics. Here the hormones which these are only hormones which produced in this glands. Pituitary glands producing the FSH, LH and ADH. This is growth hormones and oxytocin, prolactin, and thyroid glands is producing the thyroxine, thyroxine, and adrenal glands are producing adrenaline and cortisol, and pancreas is producing the insulin and glucagon. Ovary is producing estrogen and progesterone. Test is producing the testosterone. These are all the things in the involved in that hormones are produced in the glands. Okay, the pineal gland is involved in the biological clock. It is producing the melatonin. Melatonin is produced from the pineal. It's very important because they ask them match the following based on this. It's very easiest one that we want to just remember the function and the hormones. Okay, what is the mechanism of all these hormones? Here the different glands are producing different hormones. The different hormones are playing a different role. The different is water soluble hormones and the lipid soluble hormones. The water soluble hormones are having the amino acid based hormones, expect thyroid hormones. It's all amino acids that except the thyroid hormone, and can't enter into the target. They act on the plasma membrane receptor. It's coupled by the G proteins. And water soluble hormones is steroids and thyroid hormones. Lipid soluble hormones, there are steroids and thyroid hormones. It's act on the intracellular receptors. Okay, here you can see the hormone. It's attached to the receptor. It make a GTP signal. This signal make a ATP binding, that is adenylated cyclase, and membrane. It's make a change in the membrane, cell membrane, and it's also ATP conversion is make a activation of CAMP. The CAMP activate the protein kinase. And it's involved the diseases. Okay, that pituitary gland, it's hyperactivity people and hypoactivity people. These are the different diseases. That posterior means there's a dystropia and diabetes, and these are some diseases. Please refer this. Then thyroid hormones involved in the various diseases that make a different diseases. The conditions, it's arterial fibrillations that makes thyroid testing. In the thyroid testing, they that vascular rate, the ventricular rate is difficult to control because of the thyroid imbalance, so that we want to maintain. Then heart failure, that is the initial presentation of thyroid testing. Thyroid level is become a low, means there is a no metabolism happen in the heart, so there is the heart failure. Then dialytic cardiopathy, then aminodarons use. These are all, there's some things involved in the hormone based in activities. Then our production system, reproductive system, it's a hormonal cycle based one. Here the follicle stimulating hormone, that is FSH, and luteinizing hormone, that is LH. These are all regulate the egg production. Two things are very important: the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. This FSH and LH are very important. It's make a egg production. In the meiosis produce one egg and three polar bodies. Okay, that each egg has the 23 chromosomes. In the meiosis start while the warm prophase 1, it's put hold 2 million cells ready to enter into the meiosis after puberty stage. Puberty start. Then puberty start. After that 28th day, the cells, that is the oocytes, are released, and meiosis 2 complete with fertilization. Okay, that egg is produced. Then meiosis 1 process. Here that meiosis 1 having 23 chromosomes that make a start prophase 1. That prophase 1, the first cell, that 2 million cells are ready to enter into the meiosis. That meiosis after the puberty stage, it's make after the 28th day, the cells are released into the meiosis 2. Here two types of process are there, that is the spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Then oogenesis means that is a primary oocytes which are having 2n and the chromosomes, and it's a one is released, one is entered into the secondary oocytes, and it's undergone the fertilization process. The first it's a first polar body, and second thing is here it's producing the secondary polar body. Then here again spermatogenesis, there is a 2n, it's divided into two part, and two things are it's divided into again two, this again two, that are allowing the sperm entry. Thus there is a possibility of the n number possibilities. It's another representation. In that meiosis, after meiosis we got only 2. After meiosis 2 we got 4. Then ovulation process. In that ovulation process, here we have the signs and symptoms. In this ovulation process, the symptoms are signs. The fertile cervical mucus is released from. If released, the basal body temperature it's vary. Then LH surge, it's also vary. Symptoms are mild pelvic pain and breast tenderness, and increase the libidos. Then ovulation test, we have different tests: self assessment and at home test. Self assessment, they are checking the cervical fluids and measure the BBT, and it's home based on ovulation test kit and microscopical test. Then it's a estimate the monitors, date cycles, and calendars, calculators. Okay, these are the normal ovulation checkup, and in that various stages are there. In that various stages we have the first step is oocyte release, that is the 0th day of fertilization. The fertilized egg, the zygote, it's fixed the cleavage. First cleavage happened. The first cleavage, the one cell is divided into two cell in between in the oocyte, in the zygote, that in the 2 cell stage, then 4 cell stage after that second day it's in 2 cell stage. In the 4th day, 3rd and 4th day, it make a 4 cell stage and 8 cell stage. That the fourth day it's in the 8 cell stage. It's very very important thing in the exam point of view. They are asking the count and date. Then day 4 it's compact morula, and it's day 5 it's inner cell mass it's produced, that is the early blastocyte. That early blastocyte it's zona bellicida, it's reaches zona bellicida. That make a zona bellicida in the day 6 to 7. The late stage of blastocyte it's catching, and the catching is find a place, and the day 8 and 9 it implant on the blastocyte, implanting of the blastocyte. These are the things in the step-by-step process of ovulation. Then it's unit 7. I think we will discuss it in tomorrow class. Now I am lined up with the unit 7. Tomorrow we will discuss about the unit 9. Thank you everyone. If you have any queries, please post it in the Google Classroom. I will answer that and explain you. Thank you everyone.